burn it back.
You just take their version. It's great. It's hard for them to argue when they're like, yeah, Genevieve is on fire. Yeah, Genevieve is on fire. You're right. I got to just invent something that makes fire.
It's wishful thinking.
It's delusionals. Like 30 buildings were injured in this whole day war. 30 buildings in all of Israel. 28 people were murdered, unfortunately. 14 of them were Arabs. Go figure. Like, it's only 20% of the population in Israel that is Arab. So how do we get to 50% of Iranian missiles killed Arab, or rather 50% of the deaths caused by Iranian missiles killed Arabs? It's really simple, because Allah prefers the Jews. Allah protects the Jews. It's not random. It's more than 2 standard deviations in terms of probability. Not random. It is God's hands. Thank you very much. It is God's hands. The Jews. They're choosing to kill the Arabs at the hands of the Muslims on missiles. And I got 100 million. Hilda's like, oh my God, Jeff's speaking my language.
I love you, Jeff. You are the chosen people. You're God's child.
Oh my God, I've heard that voice once before. And you know what it said to me, Hills?
Run. No, what did you?
Harder. No, that voice said to me.
I was chosen for Trump.
I was at Taylor University, which is a very Christian university in Indiana. And I was working in the student union, and girl Anthony came up to me and she's like, what are you? I said, what do you mean, what am I? She's like, you different, you're exotic. I said, oh, Jewish. She said, just like the Lord. I said, I guess. She goes, that's hard. That's the last time I heard that voice.
It sounds like Paris Hilton.
Did you bang her?
That's hot.
I was in a phase of my life where I was incredibly moralistic and stupid. In this period, there were 2 or 3 women that, like, essentially offered themselves to me, and I just don't know why I didn't say yes to any of them. And I honestly regret it.
Aw. Don't worry, you'll see them again in heaven.
No, I won't. They'll never meet them again. But they were hot. And horny. And, like, literally verbally invited me, and I said, no thank you, I'm far too professional. This is a work environment. I couldn't possibly have sex with you. What the fuck was I thinking?
Dumbass.
Totally. Like, it's one thing to blame your wife for not having sex with a woman. It's a totally different thing to blame you for it.
Did they work under you, or?
Well, one of them was an employee of mine. However, and I would even still agree, fucking an employee is a really bad idea. However, when this occurred, I can tell the whole story, it's actually kind of hot, but when this occurred, she was picking up her paycheck because I had already fired her.
Ooh, hate sex.
Yes. I fired her 2-3 weeks later, she came to pick up her paycheck, and she started taking her clothes off in my office.
Stop it.
She had no piercings, and she just felt the need to show me.
Were they on her titties?
I was gonna say, like, in a place where you couldn't see them.
The two she showed me before I said stop were on her titties, but she had already unbuttoned the top of her pants to show me the third one.
Oh, God. You did not fuck her.
I did not fuck her.
Okay.
And
Did she pull up her pants? My God,
she
dude.
didn't get her pants off. She just got the top button off.
Did you mace her? He didn't that crazy. That's, wow.
Yeah, I definitely should have fucked that crazy. Background, this girl was, I want to say, like 19, and before you say it's disgusting, I was like 22. She had like a sugar daddy, and she was this like goth, skinny, destitute Jewish girl who just, yeah. So and apparently her sugar daddy wasn't giving it to her well. She was thinking, this guy will give it to me well. And I didn't, unfortunately. I should have. God damn it.
Sounds like it was good that you didn't, though.
Shut up, Leslie.
Well, you could have given it to her, but she
This is not the role you play in my fantasy. This is the role
given it to her. She could have given it back. She could have given you an STD. So you said, I was
See, I expect this from Rena, not from you, Leslie.
right, you were the one that where I was.
Fuck, Leslie.
Fuck.
Look, all my friends are valuable, but they all play their roles. Leslie, you are the one that encourages me to have irresponsible sex.
Yeah, I want you to do things that you don't normally do.
Exactly.
She's the one who encourages the fucking. You know,
Yes.
I get really to explore things, including homosexuality. Most important.
I mean, Leslie agrees with that, yes.
That tracks with my agenda. And again, I'm not looking to gain on the population. I'm not looking to exceed our end strength here. I'm just looking for the intern of the summer, returning back to the wild afterwards. Whatever you do on your own is on you. Yeah, she puts you back as a better person. She puts you back.
I think you're just so giving. You prefer to give women a new experience. Like, it's one thing to have sex with someone who has sex all the time.
Yeah.
That's another thing to show someone sex in a way they've never imagined.
I just like people to come in a way they've never come. And if they're like, holy fuck, I've never come before, that really gets me off. Woman, no.
I did have a friend who said, this has been probably 10 years ago now. She's like, what? She was like, yeah, I think I've had an orgasm. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Like, if you don't know, then you did not have one. But, straight.
But you can have all different types. They're not all.
But something happened.
There's so many different kinds. Like, your legs could shake, or I don't know. There's all sorts of stuff.
Okay, we're being streamed.
Burning
We're
Man.
being streamed. Elena's entrance of the room. She's a full-time watcher of someone's stream, because we are now being streamed, people. So let's be less interesting, because John Kidover's a fucking homo who likes to ruin everyone's fun.
And his stolen valor.
And likes to pretend he actually served in the army. And he's probably a fake Freemason. We'll find that out too, since me and several other people are Freemasons. John Kidover is a fraud, and Allah is going to have vengeance on him. Although Allah's kind of
Protection!
I don't need a patrilineal Jew. No, that's right. Allah's going to take vengeance on him. Fucking fake veteran, fake Jew, fake man, fake winner, fake politician. You're just a fake loser.
Fake Jew. I think he's real. He reads the Tanya.
Yeah, Danny, you have terrible fucking judgment.
All of Danny's friends are fucked up in trouble. I'm sorry. And even though we are part of that, most of them that come in here that aren't us are crazy.
Yeah, everybody blames me. They're like, you get the weirdest people. I'm like, they're all fucking Danny's friends. Everyone.
Oh, Elle, did you get flowers? Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah.
I can buy myself flowers.
Oh my god, they're so pretty. They're so, a little springy. Some rubber, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you know Chicago, musical?
Yes.
People in the old rattle down. Oh my gosh, I was sitting over here doing the pastime rag from Chicago by myself in the kitchen the other day, just numbers, all those. That was nuts. This is my life.
Breaking news. According to Netanyahu's office, the U.S. attack on Iran's nuclear facility breaking news. A drone has been launched from Yemen towards Israel.
Yeah, Trump just said that any weapons fired from Yemen he'll consider to be attacks from Iran.
Did he say that? Good. That needed to be said like 6 months ago by Israel, but I'm glad Trump said it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think he's redeeming himself a little bit.
He said something similar months ago.
He's always said that.
Implied it.
Wait, are we talking about Trump or Netanyahu implied it?
Trump said it.
Which one? Trump implied it a few months ago.
Yeah, but Trump just put it on his
I don't know how this fucker can live with himself when he ruins everybody's fun. Go kill yourself.
Oh, don't worry, Jeff.
Why are we mad at Edmund?
Danny, because he's a reprehensible piece of shit, Danny.
Maybe Hashem sent him to make us talk better.
No, Danny, here's the thing. I'm actually considering blogging anyone who follows any of Edmund's accounts so he can't come in here. So,
I'm on
just
the
an
cutting block.
FYI.
I'm on
Yeah,
the
just an
cutting block
FYI.
now.
You may have to choose him or us.
Yeah, but Jeff, he follows me and I don't follow him back, so he can still know where I am. It doesn't matter if you follow him back. I actually know block him. I heard. I try, but sometimes I don't always get all the ones. He told me that the account that it is, he told the room is not connected to a single human being.
Yeah, no, I figured as much.
So you're never gonna catch it. They said that in the room actually. So
Yeah, I figured as much. Doesn't take a rocket scientist just to get that.
So I don't know which account, but it's gonna be someone with no friends.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll just. I'm gonna levy charges with at the Masonic Lodge, because I can do that. His video. Lodge 33 in Chicago.
Ooh, Lodge 33 is gonna get in trouble.
33?
Everything about masonry is special. He defiles it.
Can I become a man to become a mason?
No.
That's the Eastern Star, honey. You have to be Eastern Star.
So Trump said it on March 17th that any attack or drone or missile fired by Yemen would be considered coming from Iran.
I somehow missed that. That's
But he never followed up on that. Like, we read it, and then they fired a whole lot of shit.
Okay, changing the subject only slightly. I had a friend call me with her hair on fire that New York has voted in a Muslim
No.
mayor. So explain.
Democratic primary.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically the same chick. Which is basically the same mayor.
I knew we were a Republican now.
Eric Adams to have a chance in this.
Eric Adams, everyone says he's so corrupt.
Jesus, he's not the mayor. I'm sorry,
And we are
Yeah, socialism happened live in New York.
crap out of a lot of people. We won't know the results until he didn't get more than 50%, so they didn't have to look at the rankings.
Cuomo conceded.
We should have waited a week.
So that is your great.
Ranked choice voting don't concede until you know how
Mueller needs to plan a trip to New York immediately to demonstrate how irresponsible and out of touch this fucker is. And let Trump go ahead and arrest this fucking candidate. Or, well, actually, it's gotta wait until he's actually, because once he's mayor, if he tries to arrest Netanyahu, he's violating federal law.
I mean, we're not even a signatory to relevant.
And it's irrelevant because it's the federal government who would actually have a seat at that table to arrest someone on that.
And he said, oh, this is a sign of leadership where no leadership has been.
He's also running on taking over all the grocery stores in the city and running them rent-free, tax-free, and no profit.
One of the other stupid ideas
That's one of his ads. That's straight out of one of his ads.
is expanding rent control, which is just going to reduce the number of housing units.
Yeah, well, okay, in fairness, like, the economic stuff about this guy, I don't care about. He's an anti-Semite, an anti-Israel guy. Like, some things are relevant and interesting to people here, but him, like, expanding property tax credits or whatever the fuck you're talking about, like, that's just your state of Democrat.
So he's like pro rent control because my step grandma was so big on rent control for New York City. She was on all those things.
I mean, rent control's at this point a scam in New York anyway.
It's fucked up because she barely had to pay any rent for so long, so I kind of felt bad for the landlord, you know?
It's all basically grandfathered, and what's fucked up about the system, frankly, is like you can inherit a rent control apartment, like with rent control. Doesn't matter what your income is. Weird. It's a weird system.
No incentive to.
I don't think they were enforcing it.
It is a pointless,
When
most
she
pointless
died, it
stream
was
ever.
done, but, like, she had a really good deal.
The only way you can inherit it is if you're on the lease with that person and the person dies. That's
Yeah, and if you're smart, you get on the lease before they die.
She should have.
that's
I
how
would
friends
like to
friends
live
happen,
there,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. My kitchen's almost clean. These fucking New Yorkers. But you know, these actresses in resources here shortly.
Yeah, when you get to the department too, that'll be interesting.
He wants to get rid of the police department?
Well, defund the police is like,
Same thing.
Okay. I'm loving these commercials for Florida that are coming through my algorithm. If you want to protest and get in front of a car in Florida, you have permission to run over the sucker. I love these. It's so funny.
it's going to be a huge flight of rich people in the tax base in New York.
Shirley, I can't stop watching the protesters that are getting run over.
Yeah, Florida's an interesting, I don't know what I'm going to say. In bad news, my favorite shawarma spot, which is owned by an Israeli Arab and is fucking
said there would be some inheritance available. I mean, that was just stupid. If this bitch has got kids with him.
I don't know if there is. What I know is now my supply of high quality is really short. Is in jeopardy. High quality is really short. What's wrong? It's I don't know how to explain this to someone from West Virginia. It's meat with a lot of flavor.
Okay.
It's meat you cut off a stick that's cooked on a stick right afterwards.
I mean, it's kind of like, what is it, a song? No, what's the Mexican?
They would say kebab probably. Like comparable. But it's not a kebab.
You're never
It's not
getting
something
They
the
say
same.
kebab.
Like lamb, like on a stick.
Yeah, it's kind of like gyros, that's right.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
like the most likely reference point they would have.
It's a gyro with gyro.
Everyone that earlier who was asking who is William, this is William. Hey, William.
Is he the guy, did he just say that shit's cat?
Yeah.
He said something like that, yeah.
Hey, Leslie.
Yeah, that's William.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of William. There's a little bit of William in each of us.
Leslie,
Yes, sir.
why should you never get into a fight with a dinosaur?
Why?
Get your ass kicked.
That's good. Yeah.
I've never seen Nathan Robinsons.
Sorry, I haven't seen it, Cup.
No, it's an older movie from when we were like kids. You go watch it, it's pretty good.
Is this your West Virginia Bridge of the Day? Like, is that the theme you're going for with these PTRs?
No. This is,
Yesterday you had the blue one. This
yeah,
is,
that was one in Charleston because
This is
that's
the
the
one
pretty
she
picture. That is the one in this picture is the new River Gorge, and this is everything West Virginia. You got pepperoni rolls, Mountain Dew, a cardinal, a bear, a coal miner, near a deer, the mountains,
in and
and the
out.
Mothman.
And
No,
now
it's the Mothman. It's the Mothman.
What the hell's a Mothman?
You know what the Mothman is? Yeah, never heard of that before, never.
It's a cryptid. You know Bigfoot and the Yeti and
Yeah.
it's one of those. It's a cryptid.
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 The hell's that?
A monster that we can't prove that's real. Okay, so in
The Jersey Devil in West Virginia, that's all.
yeah.
There's a movie about the Mothman.
Cosmic prophecies.
Sorry, that's
Why would he do that? I mean, why do people are friend with him? Everybody needs to like literally boycott him, and then he
Yeah, I don't know why people treat him like he's a human.
needs
He's
to be
disgusting.
restricted clubhouse, and then people can leave the town once and for all.
Yeah, I mean, we do need to be sending an actual email to Clubhouse because
Oh, his account is the Anon with the glasses. That's his account. That's the one.
he's got many accounts.
I know, but he only can have one Anon. You cannot have more than one.
If you have you don't understand. You can't.
He has multiple phones with multiple accounts.
Well, Clubhouse needs to ban him. They know how to ban people.
Yeah.
I've had to get a Google number for one of my friends from Clubhouse so he could open an account because they banned the person. Clubhouse knows how to ban people.
Yeah, but they'd have to go in and like ban the IP address of his internet and of all of his stuff.
They do that though. They do
He
that.
literally has like 35 buttons.
No, I understand, but they can just shut it down and people need to stop go on stages and be friend with him and talk to him.
Yeah, I don't
Join
want
the
to see
campaign
you.
step. I would block people like we should do that. We should make that a trend everybody who hangs out with him, because I go to rooms and I see people that are hanging out with him.
Sarah, we've tried for the past 2-3 years, but then other people think he's smart and funny, and then they like.
There's nothing funny about streaming what happens in social rooms. Like, I'm from Iran. Like, if he's streaming this room and then I say something about my family, he's putting my family and my life in danger. There's nothing funny about that. Like, no,
People who just hang out with this guy are a lot like people who just hang out with anti-Semites and Klansmen and say, but they're really good on economics. Like, this guy is dangerous. He puts people in danger, and basically, and mostly, he's just a douche. Like, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
When I first came in contact with him, and I should have blocked that account. I don't know if I was following it or not. I just started looking at it.
I have 35 of his accounts blocked. Wouldn't make a difference.
Well, anyway, when he first started all that streaming, he's on Instagram, sitting there with naked, and he's streaming the room.
And on he's on X too. Yeah, streaming us.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta figure it out, because it really is, like, people who think he's cute and fun and hang out with him really are putting us in danger.
there's absolutely nothing fun about him or funny about him, you know?
I agree. I honestly, does put everyone at risk, and it doesn't make me want to come around.
Oh shit, am I getting canceled because of admin?
You're getting
Well, stop hanging out with him, Danny. You're not the only one. There are other people too.
But Danny, it's not because of Edmund, it's because of your decisions.
Oh, what did I do?
You talk that you literally unmute Mike in here to defend him. Like he's a bad person.
I don't believe isn't he
You have like all of your friends telling you that like he's violating all of our privacy, it's making us feel awful, and you're still defending him.
No, I was
Danny, I come in
joking.
this room, I talk about my family in Iran. I've talked about it so many times in this room. And if that's getting streamed in another room, that can put my family's life in danger.
Then you need to watch what you say, Sarah.
Jason, please say that. I have to always say something, Jason.
Everything is recorded at all times. He's here to remind us that even if he's not in the room, someone can be listening.
We're going to cancel people who are okay with him and justifying his behavior. That's all we're saying, Danny.
Yeah, he doesn't have a noble goal, Danny. He's trying to make money. Like, don't be naive.
He's making money while putting people's life in danger. And if you want to like justify that,
you're gonna have 35 accounts.
Yep, exactly.
I don't have time or energy for shit like that.
Just isn't a good look, Danny.
When Hills does that, that's specific to me, right?
When I said to Danny, don't enable weird behavior because it makes us all feel weird, I just hope you're joking. Yes, that was fair.
No, when you get the girl with the whip out.
No, that's for Jason. No. Sorry, Danny. Don't misinterpret that, please. That is Jason's emoji only, and I only pull it out when he's right on. Yeah, okay. Sorry, Danny. I'm so sorry for that. Apologize to Danny right now. Apologize to Danny, okay? Honestly, you're pissing me off. Okay.
I'm pissing you off.
Kinda.
I don't want to apologize to Danny because while we like her judgment is terrible, as is evidenced by her marriage.
No one apologizes.
So, listen to your friends. We are warning you that you are going down a bad pathetic.
Okay, so my husband what you should feel bad for, actually.
That could be true also, but you could like logic bolts.
Just ask your husband, does he want to be cucked?
No, he wants to convert from Christianity to Orthodox Judaism because he thinks that would tame me.
So guys, is it valid if a man have a small penis?
Yeah, I mean,
Filipino.
you could.
No, it's not. You should kill yourself.
In Slovenia, they have a penis grafting operation, if that's a problem for you.
How many centimeters?
So this is a prime example why I don't want to be.
Centimeters. Yeah, exactly. Centimeters are for the weak and the European.
Go on, Miss Shirley. Well,
That's because
Why I don't want to be. I don't want to be recorded.
The imperial system.
I don't want to be recorded on Instagram where my grandson is, where I am entertaining an adult conversation. I don't want to be. I don't want to be taken out of context. Okay.
He's really mentally ill. Look, he brings in the room multiple add-ons. Those add-ons with the glasses, they're all him. He's just like
Hey, why would you have multiple? I don't understand.
that's like a mentally ill person. That's like
because he uses one to stream to Twitter, one to stream to Instagram, one to stream to
Platforms. I get it.
Really?
but right now because we just set it down, he just like storms the room with add-ons.
right.
Literally, I told him you're putting people's life in danger. Not over 900 people have been arrested in Iran right now because of the, they believe them as helping Israel.
3 were executed yesterday. Literally
We
executed.
were executed yesterday. 4 or 5 were executed, before that. And then this dude think that's funny. He brings in more add-ons in the room. This is how dangerous this person is, Danny. Do you see that? This is how dangerous it is. Jeff, but I really think we should do that. I know Roger's down for it too. We should just literally start blocking people who go and hang out with him. I have some friends that are make me very sad, but I have friends on this app that I go in the room and I say, you're hanging out with this dude. If people hang out with him, we need to boycott them.
Boycott John
Yeah,
Kerry.
anyone who's defending his behavior is completely retarded. I'm sorry. He provides no value. He's literally ripping off.
One's not like.
He's literally ripping off our fun. He's destroying our fun so he can make a dime. Just like he steals, like he pretends to be a veteran, which he's not. Like the guy is a bad guy. He's a fraud. He's a complete utter fraud.
Why is he not there?
I know he is.
Because he didn't fucking serve.
Well, he was part of intelligence.
He was not part of intelligence. He never actually served. He went to military academy. That's it.
Oh, so that photograph of him is military academy?
Correct. And it's not even a real uniform. That's like his grandfather's uniform. All of the insignias are from like World War.
This is so funny.
What do I know?
exactly. No, but
Operate.
No, I don't know. It looked like it was up to date, but
Look, and even if all this stuff wasn't also true, what he's doing is fucking antisocial. It's theft. He's literally stealing everybody's content to present it as known, despite the fact that everyone says don't. He's putting people at risk. He's a disgusting human, and someone needs to run him over with a truck.
it's coming, I feel like.
Ooh. Another death threat.
So now, at this point, we need to very carefully talk about like sex, describe it in great detail, because apparently there's a combination of the terms and conditions of many of the sites that he talks about.
Well, there are a number of ladies in this room that I would like to have sex with. And I mean, I will go gentle and easy, and it will be fun.
me too.
What, you too? Is there
Am I a lady?
Yeah, no, you're not like.
I haven't gotten to the men list yet, but that's a different
I
discussion.
identify as a woman for the purposes of this conversation.
Wow.
It's the age.
Oh,
This is
I wish you had long hair.
Oh, honey. Guys, it was fine. We'll chat later.
See, Miss Shirley's got to leave. You know, Danny, you can't defend him and then tell her not to go. Stop being so fucking selfish. You can't defend him and then tell people who he's making uncomfortable they shouldn't go. Like, stop being such a fucking narcissist where you think you can have it both ways. You can't.
I'm sorry.
I didn't want to be a narcissist. Come on.
So look, this is worse than anything Narcy ever does. Right? You're literally saying what this guy is doing is good and valuable, while telling the people uncomfortable that they shouldn't leave. People leave because of him.
No, she left because of the sex.
Which is because of him. She's fine with sex. She's not okay with being streamed. She's not okay with being streamed talking about sex.
I was talking about orgasms and different types of orgasms, and then I was told to shut up because it was being streamed, but whatever, I'll talk about the orgasms, I don't give a fuck.
Back to Leslie.
I want somebody to ride my bus.
Yeah, take it away. I'm over it. I'm actually kind of really annoyed. So. Not me, not you.
That's Danny.
Leslie hates
I'm
me.
annoyed at you, Danny. I actually unfriended you.
Oh my god.
You're defending someone who's putting my family's life in danger. I can't be friends with you. Sorry, Danny. I literally told you the danger is putting my personal family in, and you're just saying, oh, but he's doing this.
I'm trying to explain to you that if he could do that, that means other people can too, so don't trust anyone on this
It
app.
doesn't matter, Mark. It doesn't matter.
Danny, there is dangerous that anybody
You don't know who anybody is.
I don't think that nobody else has.
There is no proof that anybody but him is doing it.
No one else is
He's got
streaming our voice.
videos, he's got YouTube, he's got all kinds of our content that he is legitimately posting. Yes, other people might be able to do it, but nobody else is doing it that we talk to. That's the problem that you're not seeing.
I should be all wearing a short mini skirt and not be one.
Actually, you know that person who, when I told you, Jeff, there was like a security concern about like that phone call. I have reported that to FBI. Maybe I should report this guy because he actually streamed that room. You know what? I'm gonna do that because he shouldn't be doing this. I reported that phone call that, you know, the one I told you. I'm gonna report this dude too. Somebody send me his first and last name so I can tell them because it's part of that.
John, get over.
Yeah, and do you want location?
You want his address, his phone number?
Yeah, we got all that.
Message it to me, yes.
We got all that. And then FBI has a tip line. You can do it online easy. I just
No, this is, I don't want to go into details, Hills, but something happened from this app. I had to report it to counterterrorism at FBI for security reasons, for safety reasons. But then he has that room streamed, which is part of, you know, causing that problem. So maybe I should actually report him.
Yes, you should.
All right. I'm just going to say this right now. Those of you who call a junkie over a friend are going to go today. And you guys, if you value us as people, and you want to come into my spaces,
Are you
you're going to.
Is you or him? Is it an ultimatum? Are you giving me an ultimatum?
trying to
No, I'm not saying you're in spite of the fact that I'm stopping from coming. The fact that you guys normalize it, I don't want you in my space. So you're going to attack. It's not going to stop him from coming, but I don't want people who are going to defend our abuser. So Danny, you're going to. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Jeff, I appreciate that. Because you probably already got filled in this morning because I was in the room. Phyllis and I were in the same room. And I went looking around after I heard that. And I saw him have a room open. And I knew you were doing a little research because I came in there real quick. And I knew that guy is a fucking creep. So I went through everything to make sure that guy wasn't in AA. That guy has so many freaking accounts on here. It's sickening. But yeah, I'm right with you on that. Yeah, that guy's
You
great.
know, like if they value us, they can stop hanging out with him. Sorry. This guy is a clear present danger and a fraud.
He's a sociopath.
People sit in a room with him, they talk as if it's like, you know, like life as usual, nothing's wrong. It's just pretty annoying, you know, like, and then defending him, come on.
Yeah, I mean, please tell me if I was too harsh on her, but that's just.
You weren't, Leslie, and I was
No, you were not. People are in danger right now because of this dude. Like, this is not a.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I like her too, but I'm not gonna condone her actions with this. That's not okay.
just because I like somebody on the app doesn't mean I have to be friends with all of their 4,000 followers. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of weird, and what she's doing is not okay. To the friend group, and we've all expressed very nicely in ways. I don't think you were too hard at all. Boundaries, man.
don't care if I was too hard.
We've been here what?
I'm sure everyone appreciates it.
Just like
I was not even reading the section.
That's not
Good
yeah,
Lord.
but that's you, Jeff.
That's
That's not hard. I don't want him.
It's so hard.
Golly.
Sorry, that threw me off. Sorry, Jeff. Well,
We're all just trying to do our best.
No, I appreciate that. I just don't. Yeah, I don't like what Clubhouse has done with this anon thing.
Appreciate the
You
support.
should be able to take out the anons and at least we give some control. But it's crazy to have your house and then have anons just be able to come in and not be able to be kicked out. That's stupid as hell. I mean, they could at least allow that.
okay. Well, yeah, they could have at least responded to all the safety, reports people have done because of those predators that are still going around your room anonymously now. I mean, whatever, Clubhouse. You're gonna have a lawsuit on your hands. I'd be so fucking.
I'm just waiting to see the headline that Carl Davidson and turns out to be a pedophile.
Right.
You know,
Like,
it's
I have screenshot.
Paul Davidson, the founder of Clubhouse, I'm just waiting to see him on headline news for being a pedophile. It's crazy.
Check your
Breaking news.
Not a joke.
Breaking news in the Farsi telegram of Israel defense, military defense. It says that the ceasefire does not mean that the war with Iran has come to an end. We have entered. I'm trying to translate Farsi to English. We have entered in what is it called? We've entered a new stage of this war. That's a good thing, right, Jeff?
I wasn't listening, sorry.
I said in the Israeli military defense, in the Farsi language of it in Telegram, in the channel, it says that the war, if the ceasefire does not mean the war has come to an end, we have entered a new stage of this war. That's a good thing, right? I hope so. Sorry, did I distract anyone?
No, you're being live streamed.
That's fine. I know exactly what's going to happen to this dude. He's going to be dragged into terrorism.
The chat, Joel says, I'm annoyed at you, Danny. You are not helpful. Yeah, man, we got it.
I really unfriended her. I got so upset at her. I'm like, why is she defending this?
Okay, so those two retards started a room John Kidover for Clubhouse president.
Which two returns on to
And I'm gonna unfollow them now. That's really fucked up.
Yeah.
People like him, though. That's the problem.
John Kidover for Clubhouse president. John Kidover for Clubhouse president.
Well, it's unfortunate that happened, but
I mean, this is why I'm just not nice to certain people because, their true color just shows after a minute. And fuck this. That's really fucked up.
she's a fucking tryhard, and it's attention to the game. This just brought her to her demise.
Dude, some woman got seriously doxxed by this dude, and she wants to do. That's unhinged behavior. I'm sorry, I pray for
I've
you.
gotten seriously doxxed. Are you
She's on
fucking kidding me?
She's on me for
Poor husband.
yeah, her husband especially. And
Maybe
he's
so.
on your chains. This is gross. It's just gross. I'm unfriending her too. Sorry, I'm not even gonna talk to her again.
I blocked her on Instagram.
It's fine. I mean, he's got his little army of sycophants that defend him, but they'll have no one else. It's going to be a hard choice.
Retard on retard action over there.
Is it also Zach Valtres, the iguana guy?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Not him.
no,
Not him. Not him. Not the
no,
iguana guy.
my,
Oh.
no, my friend,
Okay, which Zach? Who? The one.
my friend.
His name is like I'm sorry, Zach Maltese, I added you back. My friend is going to
Check your WhatsApp messages.
You're not following my friend. Danny's not, I'm not following.
Guys, you literally are being live streamed right now, so I'd shut up.
It doesn't matter. I mean, nothing that they're saying is problematic. It can be live streamed.
You're
Not like
just
it's
trying to
something
get the problematic people out of my circle right now, and now I can
You
mute.
just need to have a
Hi,
friend
Zach.
favorite.
Hi, Zach.
Hi. I just came to say what's going on, Hills.
I fucked up. I'm sorry I misheard someone. I followed you back. It's all good. Nothing is up, guys. Nothing. Sorry. I hit a wrong button, okay? No. Mistake. Zach, I'm sorry.
All right. I'm gonna open a friends only room. I don't feel like dealing with this.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Everybody loves John Kidover. Vote John Kidover, 16th District, Illinois Congress. And people like this, I mean, they're not so bad, but what are they so paranoid about?
Oh, how do you do that? Oh, friends, just friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
That's a very
What was it set up as friends of friends or public before?
no. You can this is public.
Public, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's under the house. It's public. Yeah. But even when it's friends only, people can ping. You know what I mean? Let's say like I'm not friends with Jeff, but you know me, right? You can ping me.
Yeah, I got it right.
So the friends.
I will remind you, they have threatened to kill me, burn my house down, hire a hitman, etc. This is Jeff Sproom. Jeff is a wealth advisor in Indiana, and he's reporting me to my local Freemasonic fraternity. I'm really freaking out what the fellow Masons are going to say about me. Also, he claims that he never served in the U.S. Army. Be happy to send you my DD-214 and my disability check.
I think Clubhouse will get rid of the add-on feature.
I think it's completely legal in Europe. I don't know.
It's illegal.
Suck it.
Illegal.
Suck it.
I don't think it's illegal, but I think we'll
Strict
get rid of it.
privacy laws. They have very strict privacy laws.
The streaming, these rooms into your Instagram and other places, those are illegal, but I don't know. I think Clubhouse is going to get rid of it because it's causing a lot of, problem. It's becoming problematic for people.
I don't know.
We'll see. So Jack, open the room. I will ping people that I know. So I'm gonna go there and then I'm looking to see who's in the room.
How much you want to bet Jeff's room comes right up at the top of my algorithm?
Just close this room before
Sure.
we leave,
Okay, thank you.
and then we'll ping the rest of the people. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry, after my thing.
Also, the name of this room was "It's legal to threaten anon trolls." Oh, is it really legal to make online death threats?
So you're gonna stay here, Captain?
Yeah, I can't.
It's kind of funny because it's like I have the video, you don't have shit. It's like you're gonna file a charge against me. Let me show you the video
I
of
thought
them.
you said don't, like you wanted to stay in this room because you were driving.
See, the problem is I'm looking for Ben Mendelsohn's anti-MAGA show.
I want to jump in. No flex on one of those guys.
Okay, actually, let's do an X. Oh man, isn't this funny? It totally alters.
A financial reason why we bully the fuck out of that fucking country, why they say that from Eric. And if people don't agree with that, they just not that their homework history to know why those people don't like us. And I hate that would happen. That's imperialism of how this country was even formed as well, right? So you want to have honest conversations. Really started, it's not even the United States. And then after that, it just escalated further with regime change, with our candidate and its own government, with other folks that obviously want terrorist organization by some country. Why is Israel not? What is going on? Like, just as I'm talking as human to humans, that's not right. You know, so.
Yeah, I just want to throw something else in there. It's like, you see, Donald Trump, to me, as I've seen, he's prostituting himself. You know, Donald Trump is broke. That's why he needed Elon Musk to give him that money. Man could barely pay them bills when he went to court. Don't forget that part. When people wanted that $500 million, what did he say? I don't know.
He was supposed to be a multi-billionaire according to Forbes.
Yeah, man, broke. Man, broke.
No, I don't think he just need to sell some of his property off.
No, he broke because, like, let me explain why. And I'm not saying, like,
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're creating such the drama.
It's so funny because, you know what? It's like being Trump. It's like you become the scapegoat for everybody's anxiety and anger. And,
Were you looking for the accounts that are on there before?
no, come on. Why would I'm lying? They can see what I'm doing.
I don't think it is.
They can see what I'm doing. I have,
These three want to X, one does this, one does that, one does that. Oh,
yeah. I don't know. People, they know it's all being recorded, so it creates like a weird effect in the brain, but it probably like ruins their dopamine, you know, like intake.
To that, if I'm a friend with you on the app, he would unfriend me.
But that's the problem is he'll end up, you know, creating an, well, it doesn't really matter, but, yeah, I mean, literally death threats, burn my house down, call the FBI counterterrorism unit, call the, like everything under the sun they have said, you know, which are, some of them are death threats. And like he put in the title today. They said they were gonna burn. They hope my house burns down. They said they're gonna listen. It's all on recording. It's not like I care. It's not like I take it seriously. But yeah, I don't know. It's just this is politics, you know. And like if Jeff is the only green bean, and it's either you know him or me. I mean, you know, he just doesn't like the fact that I'm using him because it, you know, it's like content automation.
Yeah, to be honest, there's a subset of people on the app who don't like it. There's a large group of people who don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, but there's a group of people who really, really, really give a shit.
Well, see, the fact is that like we're even having this conversation. Jeff may unfriend you and defriend you. You know, that's life. I mean, but
I was just trying to call and like, if you can spend your time elsewhere, great. If you want, like, I can't tell you what to do, but if you, like, I don't like the whole room centered around you. Like, I don't come to this room to talk about you. I'll be honest with you. Like, you know, I'm gonna hang out with other people. Like, they're nice friends. They've been friends with them over the years. So, like, the fact that they're like spending 2 days straight talking about you isn't fun. So,
you know,
to the extent you have bandwidth where you could deploy it elsewhere, could you please do that? Because
well, see, that is part of like my point is that I'm wasting my time even listening to these conversations about me, but I think it's funny that my mere presence causes me to be set. It's just like it's too much fun for me to let it go.
I know, but now that you've
Listen, I didn't create the anonymous feature. Before this, I had to have 30, like he said, 35 burner accounts. 35 burners.
I know. Do it. Please.
Listen, I stream. I want to stream the hottest rooms that are happening. It's my business.
This room is not hot. I know it is. Look, I'm not saying what to do.
Are you kidding me? Jeff is basically a news broadcaster. He sits there and reads the best news. So much intelligence comes out of that room.
You didn't even know that Trump said any missile or drone from Yemen is nothing against it. He said, oh, Trump just today announced that any missile or drone coming from Yemen will be treated as though it came from the Iraq. Yeah, he said that a few months ago. No, he didn't. I had to look up. March 17th, 2025, he made the exact same statement. Oh, I guess it was, yeah. Be careful before the right comes in.
Well, just if you talk to him later today, can you tell him to please not contact the Freemasonic Lodge near my house? because he says he's going to internally report me to the Freemasons.
I'm a Mason too, so
Well, just tell him, I'm not a member of the Freemasons, so it's a total waste of his time, and he's a schmuck. Make sure you emphasize schmuck. Make sure you emphasize schmuck. Because I tag it on Instagram because I'm reading, spiritual sacred text documents. So I'm trying to build content for these guys over there who sit there and want to study, esoteric philosophy. So, and also you can tell them, I can send them my...
No, the problem is that the moment I open my trap about talking to you, he's gonna ban the fuck out of me, throw me out of the room and then unfriend me and then block me and then, all that shit. So
if you talk to him, though, tell him he's also a schmuck because I'd be happy to send him my DD-214. And why the fuck would I be wearing a World War II Army uniform?
He brought that up. I said, it didn't look like it was blue, and the World War II Army uniforms were dark green. I was like, it doesn't look old.
It's just a Class A Army uniform. And yes, I'm a commissioned Army officer, so it's a stupid thing.
I was like, I don't think so, but he's like, no, you went to military academy or whatever. Maybe you did, but you really looks like U.S. Army.
See, this is where I think you get into projection. When people start calling somebody else a fraud, that's when you're like, anybody who calls somebody else a fraud, perhaps they're a fraud. It takes a fraud to know a fraud.
No, I don't think he's a fraud. I just think I think he doesn't have all the facts in this regard. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know me. He has tried to avoid me at all lengths and costs. So, that's a him problem. But the fact is, Anonymous, they're never going to change it because they want to disrupt the app. They need it to change. Otherwise, it's a dead app. It's just the same conversations over and over again. Anyways, it's my opinion. But anyways, have a great day. Take care.
You too. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
I actually not the way. We have to hear about the crisis when the U.S.
Correct. 1953.
Yeah, we're that's what you were saying. So, we're right. That's fine.
No, what I was saying is in 1979, that's when the Ayatollah was brought back in. After the regime.
Okay.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. So, what I was saying to the brother, so you understand my point, firstly, I wasn't trying to correct him. What he was saying.
Sorry.
But I just wanted her to understand, I wasn't trying to disrespect him anyway or correct him. Because he said it a while ago. I was just bringing it up to the brother, was saying that the person who said it, he said he didn't know what he was talking about, so I was thought that maybe that was probably why. That's all.
Am I missing the relevance to what's going on? Or are you guys just giving a history lesson, going back to to substantiate their claims or either
Here we go.
Sorry to be so big about that, guy. I guess the other topics are just sort of what's going on. Well, for me, it'd be like, what's going on in AI? What's going on in technology? What are some, current, poignant psychological issues worth discussing? I guess, if no one comes up, I could say that, at 9:15 this morning, I'm having oral surgery. I was supposed to have my triple P test yesterday, but I postponed that for a couple of weeks. Not meaning to turn this into into an audio diary here, but since no one's up here, I'm just doing a little stream of consciousness. So hold on, So I'm just gonna very little notepad because I write down all sorts of things, I would like to talk about when it's early and no one's come up. And I think that, okay, so one of the things I've been thinking about is this idea of ethical dilemmas or professional ethics. Do they matter, especially sometimes that, in different professions?
Damn, you don't have real friends, bro.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I only have one bar.
You got.
What do you mean I don't have real friends? What does that mean?
It's a joke, meaning that,
Because you're my friend, then I don't have real friends? Fuck you.
No, Nah, I'm just saying that like it's kind of like high school or something, you know? It's like that's it, you're out, like it's so dramatic and funny. It's like he's creating the show. Like if you watch the replays, like it's maybe kind of funny. I hope it'll be funny for him and other people in hindsight because I think I think theoretically I'm like filming a comedy show. But nobody knows it yet until it's all hindsight, and then we can watch and be like, dude, this is funny that people get so emotional. It's so pathetic. It's so stupid. It's such a waste of time, you know? It's hilarious.
Well, I feel like it's like the Emperor's New Clothes, where like you're telling a joke over and over again that I think is funny, but not that many other people think it's funny. And so it's basically like Gallagher. You're Gallagher.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Gallagher's funny. And everybody's like, I don't get it. He hits the watermelon, he hits the thing with the mallet, like, that's it? It's like, no, it's funny. Like, it's Carrot Top. Carrot Top is funny. And they're like, no, I don't get it. Like, he sucks. Like, no, it's funny. But, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just an amazing thing that this anonymous thing came out because, like, you know, and, yeah, now that
it was a gift. It was made for you.
Yeah.
It was like a feature that was created for you.
And you know what the most amazing thing is? I conditioned all these people prior to this on like 35 burner accounts to hate me, and they thought they thought they got rid of me permanently. And sure enough, the app opens a glitch, and they're just like the fucking heads re-exploded. And they're just
like,
like,
oh my god, he's
no. I mean,
you heard. I guess you saw or you heard when I was removed from Jeff's room for my association with you.
Yeah.
And I hope you know that Danny was also removed.
Oh, I filmed the whole thing. What do you think I'm doing over here?
Right. What do you think I'm doing over here? But I just want you to know that Danny and I are basically your biggest fans.
I know. So, John for president. That even drove them crazy. He's like, those motherfuckers created John for Clubhouse president. They're like, oh my gosh. That girl Sarah is so neurotic. She's so fucking annoying, but, you know, God bless her. But she's calling the FBI counterterrorism unit on me. And I'm like...
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean...
Yeah.
Also, Jeff is reporting me to my Freemasonic lodge here, the 33rd chapter here in Jefferson Park. And I'm not even a Freemason. It's like, dude...
Wait, why is he reporting you to the lodge?
He's a Freemason, so he's reporting me for unethical conduct for recording, you know, conference calls that are public on the internet.
Fucking F word.
Well, like I said yesterday, he can't control it, and so he's probably a neurotic control freak. And everything he accused me of is exactly what he is. I mean, you can watch the replays, and you're like, oh, okay, you know what? He's probably a fraudster. He's probably a narcissist. He's self-centered and egotistical, and everything he casted on me is like his projection. So that's why it's so cool to record these things and like understand how human communication and sociology, psychology actually work in the real world. Like, this is what has happened.
I mean, I feel like maybe, you know, you've told me stories about how you've had fights with friends and you've hurt their feelings. I have done the same thing. You're a Scorpio, yes. I'm a Scorpio as well, and so we both have the ability to sting.
Yeah.
But I already kind of know. I at least know one thing that I could have hurt your feelings about. But you already know what it is too, because you project it all the time. When you yell and scream, guys, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, that's me projecting you.
Fear is actually that you're wasting your time.
Well, that's
But then once I understood that about you and got to know you a little bit more and like I learned a little bit about your life situation, I'm like, oh, this is like I see this guy, like I see who you are, like
listen, I record myself in 360 degrees. Everything I say is a projection.
Right.
I have, you know, everything. See, that's the beautiful thing about transparency, where and also I'm aware of it too, but it's nice to be reminded that, you know.
Well, did you ever see 8 Mile?
Yeah, I mean, I just do not like Eminem. You know, I feel like that's just like.
Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, people have their reasons, whatever. I'm not a huge Eminem fan. I don't really like Eminem's music, but I love that movie. I think it's a really good movie. And if you remember, the lesson of the movie is, if you remember, like, the last rap battles, like,
I forgot you're a rapper. Yeah, okay.
What, there's somebody else there?
No, I'm like laughing because it's like, I'm thinking it's like, how do you bring in 8 Mile to like?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you.
I know. So what is the what? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the connection is that Eminem in 8 Mile, he wins the rap battles by using all of his enemies' ammunition.
Did he use the N-word though?
He doesn't use the N-word, no, but he takes the things that they're going to use against him, and he says it first.
Well, it's self-deprecation. Comedy and music are essentially the same thing. It's all
So
hypnosis.
If you're an honest person, then nobody can hurt you, because you can come out and be like,
Yeah.
I am wasting time. I am a loser in my apartment. I do have 35 phones. now what are you going to do about it? And, like, there's nothing that they can say at that point. Like, I did have sex with a transgender person. It was a horrible experience. Like, what do you want to say about it? What do you want me to say? I don't care.
I mean,
Anyway.
I think what I'm doing is like, it's not subversive, it's not counter. I just think it's like breakaway comedy. I mean, because how can you can go on stage and there's like 15 people that come to your comedy show. I mean, anyways.
It's a prank. It's a new form of pranking.
It is. It's crankers. It's a prank
crank
call show.
yankers. It's like a crank yankers thing. It's like, yeah, I think I mean, I don't like pranks where somebody gets hurt. I don't really see like how people could get more hurt on YouTube than they could get on Clubhouse. And when you're talking on Clubhouse, anybody could be listening to you. Like, you don't know these fucking people at all.
Yeah, it's
so
just
I don't know
random
why
voices.
you have this level of trust on Clubhouse, and you're like, oh, if somebody listens to me on YouTube, they're gonna. What, are you afraid they're gonna come to your house and kill you or rape you? What are these people afraid of? Like,
Well, they're like, it's basically I am the sacrificial goat that they just cast their
right, that's
fear,
much more
anxiety,
accurate.
and anger
Your
onto
take
me.
is more accurate. It's just about control.
Yeah.
You trigger them because they have no control. It's not any more complicated than that. There's no fear of getting raped.
It's framing them. Nobody wants to get framed or put in a lens or put in a bucket, and like that's what I'm doing to them. And they can't stand the fact that somebody's able to like have a higher level of intelligence or consciousness or repackaging or bundling. Like they can't stand that they're being used for somebody else's purpose.
Like when we're having a conversation, they always say an expression like holding up a mirror, or a poet is holding up a mirror to society or something. Like you're literally holding up a literal mirror.
They can't stand the reflection.
That's literally what it is. It's just like you could go to your YouTube channel and listen to your own voice in real time, and you're like, oh my god, is that how stupid I am?
Because if
I sound that dumb.
See, this is where I wish people were doing what I'm doing to them, but doing to me. Because the truth is, when you run for office, the whole thing is like an influencer game. And who can create the most influence? Like the guy that just won New York City, AOC. These are influencers. They have the ability to connect with real voters. So, I mean, my friend Max and I were like trying to like strategize on how to create like press and publicity. Because if I don't get any press or publicity from like actual news sources, like the voters will just vote for, the other guy on the primary in March. So part of this is like feeding into this political strategy of creating content, and this is fully automated. So I thank Jeff, and I thank Amir and all his terrorist supporters and terrorist promoters and potential terrorists, because like most of the public is working and they have no idea that all these like back end conversations are happening. But yeah, it's an I think this is more like a psychological observational study. And
that's why I'm here. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. It's like it's a window into humanity, which has always fascinated me.
Yeah, but it's also
very interesting.
It's the chemistry too, meaning that like this whole dopamine, neurogenerative, like all this brain science research stuff, like the network, it's here. I'm a part of that network. You're a part of that network. Jeff is a part. We're all nodes. So when one node is trying to like eliminate other nodes, that network becomes weaker. His network becomes weaker. The overall network becomes weaker. But that's why I believe in like total transparency. It's like part of this is like it's literally my brain into the internet and the internet into my brain. That's why I've like told you like you should live stream more or bootleg Clown House, because it creates it creates another mirror for you and for other people and for the whole network. So I think what I'm doing is interesting.
I mean, yeah, respectfully, I think that you have, because I know a little bit about your situation and your house and how you're getting the amount of money that you have, I would say you're making the best use of your situation that you could be making. I mean,
Yeah.
if I had less going on in the real, probably spend the day on Clubhouse and try to like monetize it and try to build something. But I have to get off the phone and I got to go now basically because I'm meeting up with this classroom at 11 and we're going to do a little plant walk and. You know, I'm trying to do things in the real world, but I'm still dipping into the psychological experiments. But I think that
what you're doing is important, but I would encourage you to create videos all the time because really you have to look at this as like Motown. You're creating records. You're basically creating spam. And so how much spam are you actually creating? Because it's the legacy spam that might have residual value in the future, you know, where you can actually stop engaging and just go back to not being a spammer. But you have to create something to create residual income for yourself. So
legacy spam is a good clubhouse. That's a good house name. Legacy spam.
This has never happened before in human history. These cell phones are creating like a breakaway society or like a tertiary communication environment. I don't know. It is what it is. Anyways, have a great day.
Yeah. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye.
All right.
Let's get one more feedback. We'll see if Clubhouse Chris can take a call. Yeah, have you been listening to any live streams of how I'm being centered in all the rooms with death threats and hate and projection?
It's crazy. Oh my goodness, it's nuts.
I was thinking, you know what part of this is? It's because for years I've been, everybody knows me. I've been conditioning everybody with these 30 burner accounts. So now that the anonymous has kicked in, like their heads are popping because they're like, I can't get my dopamine. I can't get my dopamine. I can't get my dopamine.
You're a dopamine siphon.
What do they call it? Energy vampire.
I love it. I'm currently in the bathroom taking a shit. So.
I just wanted to get your feedback because you would be the third person I've now talked to from Clubhouse on the phone. So, like, what is your observational opinion?
Totally deranged. That's like all I can see. You know, like I gotta record some of this content. You know, that's not thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you have a presence with your YouTube and your Instagram, and your association to me, like, makes you a recorder in the community. But, yeah, it's deranged, but I think it's also, like, pathetic in the sense that, yeah.
Who cares? Like, hey, I don't care if I'm being recorded right now. I don't care. Like, whatever. Like, I don't have anything to hide or, you know, it's like, whatever.
What makes it pathetic is that people will keep coming here for 80 hours a week and make no money doing it, which means it's not productive. You're not creating value.
Yeah.
So it is the definition of insanity. Okay, take care. Squeeze it out. Bye. He's gonna finish wiping his ass. Okay, let's call Scott for one more feedback.
Hi, this is Scott. Comedy comedian. What, is Donna here? Is that drugs? Oh. Yeah. I wanted to tell him how, their blacks over hips.
Oh, I saw one of the titles. I saw one. It's like, it's not permission for street membership or some shit. But here's the thing, it's like, I would not pay for John to have an animal account just so he could go in there and sit anonymously to fucking troll them. Because then they couldn't pick him out.
I think it's kind of ridiculous that like I get censored immediately.
Oh, it is him. Oh, dude, they were losing their minds over you, dude.
I know there's a couple rooms now. There's 3 major houses that.
Bro, you gotta get that to Jeff. His neighbors, like, they were not happy.
Did you just use the N-word inappropriately? Or do you have N-word Tourette syndrome, sir?
Yeah, see that?
I like calling kite stingers.
Wow, classy guy. When was the last time you went on a date and a girl actually looked at you and smiled?
It's not all.
Hello? It's just a simple question. Like a couple weeks ago, a week ago. Apparently it hasn't happened in years.
That's right.
You go to sleep with a fucking dog named after Hitler's dog. I mean, you come on here, you use the N-word like it's a productive usage of your time. Who's the real N-word? Did you ever think about that? Look in the mirror and use the N-word? Go look in the mirror in your shitty little bathroom. Go say the N-word in the mirror and just realize that you are your words.
Oh, he's got a point, Tim.
No?
This is the point that you made to me the other day.
Ooh, hypocrite, 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 hypocrite.
That's right.
What the fuck point did I make to you about the mirror?
Well, you were saying how, like, the way you talk about yourself is gonna, like, reflect what you think about yourself.
I talk about myself.
Good. The words you use are gonna become who you are. That's what John's saying.
Well, John's a nigger.
Well, but he's making the point that you are one-sided politics. Like, it's hard to disagree with him. I'm just saying.
The guy who's been locked up in the psychiatric ward, okay?
That's not nice. We've all been there.
Okay? Just like the, we also advice from fucking bodies. And, that's no place for work.
Well, no, but you would take weight loss advice from someone who was fat at one point and now isn't fat.
Well, that's why he's still broke.
Huh?
He's still broke.
I don't get it. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, I get what the words mean. I just don't get the relevance.
So why would I take the advice from someone that's not previously broke but still broke?
Well, look, maybe he's saying that you're broke in spirit.
Oh, he's rich in spirit then? Oh, that's not up for it.
No, but it takes a broke you to know a broke you, I guess.
Hey, look, Jody is he's rich in solitude.
Well, that's not an easy thing to do.
I'm gonna try and make this a thing. I'm gonna be like, you're rich. You're rich in solitude's a good one. That'd be true. What's a fancy looking piece?
A cat. It's maybe you don't get it. In America, peace can also refer to like a gun.
Yeah, sure.
It's like a cat. Oh.
Prosperity. Yeah, but by saying it's the opposite of something, that someone's rich in something, but actually they shouldn't have an abundance of that thing. Because an abundance of solitude, being rich in solitude, means that you're
abundant.
¿Sabes de conseguir con exámenes de corte? Eres el museo más triste de conseguir.
and I can empathize with, at times in life you tell a lie. And I can also identify with, being a kid and being caught in a lie by my father, which was the worst way to be.
Aggression against the state. I'd be interested to be able to read about that because, as far as I know, in my study on this region, which is reasonably extensive, it's not completely thorough, to be perfectly honest. But I've never come across an instance where Israel has actually initiated a military campaign against another state or entity.
So are you complete, brother?
I'm pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, because you've been going mute, so I just wanted to make sure you were done. So I just gave you one. I'm kind of appalled that you didn't hear the point that Israel invaded Lebanon. What is that called? That's a sovereign country, is it not? Like, are we missing something here? Was that not a sovereign country? That's the question.
So Lebanon's not a good example because the reason why they did that is because of the PLO and Hezbollah. So
You said because of the PLO and Hezbollah. There was no Hezbollah. Hezbollah was conceived as well.
There's been Hezbollah since, if you look at the Lebanon war back in 1982, that full-scale war was Israel invading because of PLO, and then which would be later Hezbollah. So yeah.
Correct, but that's just the point that I'm asking.
You gotta look at occupation. You gotta look at occupation in Lebanon, and that's what led to the rise of Hezbollah. So and there's been a war after that in the 2000s where they kidnapped those Israeli soldiers. So this is just it's a weird dynamic. The problem is, I'm gonna be honest with you. For me, this is just for me, and this is just growing up in Christian growing up in, and then also listen to historians when we do some type of strategic plan. These Arab countries can rein them in, right? And the reason why they're not doing it is because they're reliant on U.S. Equipment and military, and then also even with Iran, they don't give a fuck about Iran, to be honest. And the instability within that region. So this is a thing, and we can't just blame it on one country. This is history on history, and then what each country looks like. So they can rein them in. Why not? Why is the Arab community not reining them in?
Okay, can I finish my submission on this?
It's the ceiling fan.
Submission, and I just
That's Brandon's work.
It's
not the fan blades.
And then you can say, but don't say you cannot finish my submission. You were done with your submission. I just answered your question. Now you go to
no problem. I apologize. Okay, listen. So what I'm trying to say is the same reason that we have our problem today, which was because of solidarity with the Palestinians, is the same reason why the Hezbollah started the firing the rockets at that time, right?
It's not okay with being streaming.
Situation. I believe this was, and I might be saying this word wrong. So
it's not okay with being
that Israeli, pro-Israeli people, if you can help me, if they call it the Sheba farms or Sheba farms, right? And so at that time, right? I think that what I'm trying to say is that
the ticking noise is also indicative of a film, a movie theater, a speaks theater.
We're looking at them as terrorists, but we're not looking at the instigator in it. So we're calling them the instigator when there's only one prime instigator, which is Israel. And so what I'm saying is that when they invaded Lebanon back in the day, are you saying that Lebanon just had no reason to have a problem with Israel? Or are we just saying that they just came out and, I want to kill an Israeli today? I don't understand the point here to make it seem like Hezbollah forming that is wrong because of what they did back in the day. Like I said, Israel invaded Lebanon. Was it the other way around?
I'm happy to respond if nobody else wants to.
I'm confused with what you're saying because article. Right? Lebanon has a Shia Muslim community, and then they're supported by the Islamic Revolution. So, like, when it comes to, it's like a really, that's why I said it's really complicated. Like, the Middle East, this is all around religion, and this is how I feel it's all around religion. Nobody gives a fuck about the Shia population. And then some of the stuff that they're doing, it may be them protecting or trying to protect what they feel is rightfully theirs. But then, again, this is still going to be a Middle East problem. And that's not only to include Israel, that would be, and to include Qatar, that would be to include Bahrain, that would be to include Jordan, who doesn't even really, to be honest with you, they probably don't care what happens to Palestine at this point because of historical shit that's happened in the past. They're only protecting themselves. Like, these Middle Eastern countries really are not on the same page as what you think they're on. They're only doing certain things because of their population and them saying, oh, we're all Muslims, we're still brothers. But outside of that, like, there's no real support. So if you look at how Hezbollah was conceived, this is part of Iran's protocol to, like, export their own Islamic revolution. Like, and when it comes to foreign proxies, Iran is probably the most powerful when it comes to funding or training, guidance when it comes to ideology. Like, this is not something that is very complex, and how you're speaking on it, it's like mentally in my brain, that's why I'm getting confused with some of the stuff that you're saying. It's like you're only taking a bit of information and not understanding the whole.
Can I maybe throw something in there? You look, and this is something I think we could all maybe learn from. It's one thing, like if you're standing like in an area, you see a wall that's dividing two people. Factually, you've got a wall there. You can also give an opinion and judgment and say, well, it's a shame that the wall has been, put up and is dividing two people. But to be able to leave it there and be angry for one side putting up the wall and blaming them for the separation doesn't get into the nuance and context. Understanding and reaching the reason why was there a wall put up to start with is a key question to be able to put up there. It's like if we learned that, terrorists were going over this line and they were killing innocent people, and that's the reason why the wall was put up, then that's an understanding of the why. But understanding, well, has it been effective or not? Well, that's another thing. And if you find that 97% of terrorist attacks and killings have been stopped, then you'd have to say, well, actually, I understand now why the wall's put up. I would have done the same thing myself. The same thing goes to to these comments, like, well, Israel didn't initiate military attack against Lebanon. In 1982, the reason why Israel needed to be able to go in there, yes, Israel did go in there, but only after continued PLO attacks and an assassination attempt on the Israeli ambassador in London. And the same thing goes in 2006. Israel's at war with Lebanon because Hezbollah crossed over the border, killed 3 people, and captured 2 Israeli soldiers. So there was a need to be able to, for Israel to be able to do that, to be able to catch up. So you're right in saying that Israel is at war with multiple people, but understand at the same time, like Hamas, their charter. Are you familiar with their charter? Is it new? Never. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, did Israel force Hamas to be able to write their charter? In Article 7 of their charter in 1988 clearly states what its objective is, and that is to be able to kill all Jews. They're a Nazi organization, effectively, and to be able to wipe Israel off the planet. Now, do you seriously think that you could be friendly? These 2 parties could be friends and shake hands and play around with each other? It'd be silly to think that they can. 2 people need to be able to find common ground to be able to achieve a common outcome. And there's a reason why there is a complex situation which is there, but it could be very simply put like this. If Hamas chose to be able to put down their weapons and want peace, there'd be peace. If Israel chose to put down their weapons, there'd be no Israel. And because of that, there's a reason for Israel to be able to defend itself at all costs. It's their responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait. First, no, go ahead. Wait, Levon, you wanted to respond?
Yeah, I mean, we have Kim Jong-un in North Korea that has a nuke, and he's constantly trying to have a different threat towards South Korea. Is anybody like doing preemptive strikes against them? I mean, we're just gonna ignore international law, all these preemptive stuff, and have Israel get away with this stuff. I mean, we're talking about a live stream genocide that's going on every single day. None of these people have clean hands every single day. And we're just going to ignore that and just blow up international norms and do preemptive strikes. That's not, I don't care what anybody's chanting. The diplomacy was not allowed to work. And we do all of this subterfuge, and then we want to act surprised that they're going to withdraw from, which was the original topic of the IAEA. How are we better off based on what Netanyahu, what Trump just did? In fact, we're worse.
Point of order. Who modded Mother? Stop the program. Who?
I'm sorry, I have to do it. Alright, I'll move myself to the audience now. It's fine.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, cash in that big ticket for this pack.
So, I had something I wanted to say. Am I free to go? Or is it?
Seriously, you can we'll bring her back up.
Can I speak on what I wanted to say, or should I?
Their sphere of just a few people, I feel like the bar is raised. I don't think the bar is lowered. I mean, some people, I think, take it as sort of an invitation to have a dual life. And personally, I don't think it's very healthy, but also I think that it's a bad habit to get into. I mean, you've just seen so many situations where it just becomes impossible to guard sort of the many-pronged, faces of living a life. And I know in early psychology and psychoanalysis, they were always talking about these blank slate therapists, blank slate analysts, and I don't believe in blank slate anything. And so,
So there's a room called Trump and MAGA are racist.
Because, I think congruency is this, as I've heard it said lately, it's about the realness, it's about, can you connect with somebody and does it feel genuine? Does it feel easy?
I've watched people now,
and talking about, fake leadership or whatever, how you put that, it doesn't make a lot of sense because how can you, I think it puts you in a position at home, you're sort of this one thing, you go to work, I get you have different personas you're putting on, those are functional, and that's fair to do, and I think some of us have more pressure or less pressure to do that, but I think you're on the money when you talk about congruency being a really important aspect of being a good leader. Having integrity, yada yada. And good morning, Susie. Good morning, Steve. Anyone want to jump?
Yeah, I would like to. The first page of the Dhammapada, which is an ancient Buddhist text, says that everything comes from the mind, and that basically what you focus your mind upon is what grows and flourishes. And so if you put that together with other Buddhist texts, what they say is you suffer through life if you're, so to speak, not congruent, to use your words. If you are not if you are not, expressing your mind, living according to your mind, understanding your mind, if you're in conflict with yourself, your mind, whatever, you're going to suffer. And so people who are inauthentic, who are fake salesmen, like that Always Be Closing. What was that movie? The real estate movie. It was a play, and then
Gary Glenn Ross.
Yes, thank you. Always Be Closing. You have to be in some kind of agreement with your own mind, or number one, the people around you will see it. Number two, there's no way to lead effectively if you don't really know where you're leading from and why and where you're leading to. And this is Barbara's territory, not mine, but one good thing, I suppose, about psychological training and the kind of studying and deep diving that you've done, Dr. James, and do on a regular basis is examine congruency and try to bring people into agreement with their own minds. So,
including self. Actually, Dr. James, just quickly, cognitive dissonance. You could look at cognitive dissonance from a psychological perspective, is what this is referring to from a Buddhist perspective.
Right.
I got to add one thing. Just what you said, Dr. James. I don't want that to be missed. When you said including yourself, because what we often find, so we do these leadership assessments, right? Which is called a 360. So your peers assess you, your direct reports assess you, your boss assess you, and you assess yourself. And what we see often is that, and I'm going to put a gender lens on it too, right? Men tend to overestimate their self in terms of, on a scale of 0 to 10, how effective are you in whatever, right? Value people, value differences, or something like that. And women tend to underestimate themselves, right? Under-assess themselves, right? But the point is that there's an incongruence between self and others, right? So important to have that kind of deep dive on, wow, I thought I saw myself like that, but that's not how I occur or how I land for others, right? So how can I create congruence between my intentions, which is to be respectful, inclusive, and effective, whatever, right? And how I actually land for the people. That's the learning. And I love what you said, calling out the self. So I'm done for now. Thanks.
Interesting, Barbara. I think one of the first times that I opted to do a little mini talk in here, we did talk around these types of biases and some of the differences in the way gender is both perceived and experienced from kind of a psychological framework. I really do think that's on the money and it's not to be missed. And yeah, the reason why I say self is because, and this is something I brought up right at the end of the time we had here yesterday, was in psychology. If you're getting a degree through an American Psychological Association accredited school, there's a requirement you have a minimum of a year's worth of personal therapy. And I think that's part of sort of the ethos to do no harm, because, obviously we want to get a bit more in touch with, things we may be missing about ourselves as part of the process of being helpful. And I think it's good. I appreciate the work you do. We probably have a lot of overlap in terms of some of the things we've experienced, but you're coming from much more kind of seasoned, experienced place from that. And I'm kind of at a new start, a new career. It's kind of not a new career, but having a license is going to be a whole new bag of kind of ethics to hold. And one of the things that I thought about it is on the other side of a license, one really becomes kind of an autonomous agent of personal and professional ethics. And the only thing at that point holding someone back from, doing harm
thing that could get them into hot water, I think, is really just having developed over time habits that continue to evidence practicing ethics in their lives, you know, and having some values that they understand and they can sort of anchor to. And I think this is really kind of an important thing. And I think earlier I was asking about kind of the perception of different professions. You know, different professions, there is more of an expectation. You know, if you're a police officer, you may be considered very skilled if you're good at deception. And then, you know, if you're a politician, you probably are frowned at for being good at deception, and you probably have an oath you've taken that means you have to be more transparent. So it's just a very smarmy place because different people come from different positions on, you know, what is ethical behavior, what is honesty, you know, what is trust. Doesn't matter. I think it's a really interesting conversation.
Can I just offer a national perspective?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I come from Denmark, the same as Barbara originally, and we sort of have a friendly banter with Sweden, our neighboring country. So we're in Europe, we're in the Nordics, and we are actually the two countries that have been in most war in world history, Danes and Swedes. So now I'm talking bad about Swedes, you know, I come from this is my disclaimer. So the Nordics are very often pointed out to be among the happiest populations in the world. So how come the Danes are the happiest people in the world? Well, right now it's the Finns. They don't understand why. I can say that's the truth because I'm half Finnish. But so Scandinavia seems to be very happy people. But somebody said to me a year ago, they said, it's a little bit interesting why Sweden will never come on top of that list. And we immediately agree they will not. And the interesting mental thing in that is actually because they lie and Danes don't. So Danes have the reputation of, I know all you guys from the US, you're going to enjoy this, to be the United States of Northern Europe. That means that we are very friendly, very calm, but we also to the point. So if you ask me, do you think I did a good job? We will most likely say, no, I don't think so. There were bits that were good, but well, no, not really. And that would be honoring our relationship that I tell you the truthful answer, which is quite interesting in this discussion. But then again, if you go to a Swede and said, is this company that we're in to do this new task? Then in Denmark you would go, yes, I think so because, or no, I don't think so because, and somebody will make a decision at the end. But in Sweden, you have a group of 10 people, you ask them the question, they will all have to agree. That means somebody has to lie.
I mean, that's a really interesting point, and I think that is another wonderful nuance, sort of the conventions of truth-telling and kind of the cultures of truth-telling and that sort of thing. Yeah,
how do you achieve consensus?
Well, sometimes you don't, right? I mean, sometimes you just don't. You know, people either, like what Susie's saying, they kind of fold, right? Versus really to get an agreement. But you can achieve alignment, right?
In Intel, we used to have a principle called disagree and commit, which meant that in every meeting, I never really understood it. I mean, in my own case, I disagreed enough times that I walked out. You know, but disagree and commit. Then you can express your, you know, displeasure or disagreement, but then you had to say, okay, you're on my team, I'm on your team. We're gonna do this even if I think it's wrong. And how does that square? You know, I'm just thinking about this. It's been over 25 years since I worked at Intel.
I'm curious to ask Susie about, as a Dane, this is my perspective about happiness. I think that Danes are content. Right, and there's a level of contentment that equates to happiness, right? You know, and then there's the happiness part because I was just talking to my sister for a couple hours last night. You know, she's in Copenhagen and she's in this tiny little apartment and she's, you know, and she downsized, blah blah blah, and she said, you know, I'm really enjoying this 800 square foot whatever, right?
is content, which then she says, I'm happy. What do you think of that, Susie?
I think one of my Danish German like border people, sorry, excuse me, one sign. We have a minority of Danes in Germany. Students and people working in IT. She said that people said, they don't take cold, they're difficult to get used to. And then he said to me, I had this sort of vision one day, they're not cold, they're calm. And I think calm is the best expression I ever heard to explain a thing. That's because if you get fired, that's no big deal. Because the Danish workforce system is made so it's very easy to hire and it's very easy to fire. And that means that the government has taken the risk for the workforce and saying, well, we have made a system where we will actually get 80% of your income for 1 year currently. That means that you don't worry about getting fired because you will be calm and think, okay, maybe I'm not doing the right thing, maybe I should take second education, maybe I should work for a different company. It's no big deal if I get fired. You can take the education you want to because we get paid to educate ourselves up to a certain limit, of course. But every single Dane has the right to not only free education but also get paid while you're studying. So that means we are calm. We're very, very calm. And sometimes a little bit, if you're calm, are you happy? I think it goes a long way. But can you still be desperate even though that you're calm? Yes, you definitely can. Wow, that is exactly the opposite of what I have noted in the United States. First of all, in the United States, we're all totally identified with our work. So it's not, so if we get fired, a part of our being has been taken away. So this is why
that's true. That's well, actually. But in a sort of funny way. So I studied in Great Britain for a couple of years, and I did a student job where I was I was a temp staff as a waiter, and I became incredibly popular as a temp staff because I just took my Danish work ethics to my jobs. And all the British people I worked with, they were like, why are you doing all this? And I said, that's because when I get paid to be here, this 5-star hotel, they have a huge do with 1,000 guests, and the success of the event, that is my job. So I don't need a boss to tell me that the wine is being cooled instead of being heated. I can see that for myself, and I just take action because that's my job, to make a success and not to do what they can tell me to do. So you take responsibility as a Dane, and that is very typical for Danes working abroad. That there's this kind of honoring and.
I'm not a slogan here. I'm just saying what it could have, theoretically been. I got it. Like on the block. On the block. Hold on. That's why defund doesn't work. Because if you're actually paying attention to not just the nation, but certain communities, especially in the South, and how they feel about police in particular, you're not going to run that. You're going to have to flip that into, why don't we get community centers and other things like that? So it is a thing of that. I'm not making excuses for Nina, because like I said, Nina, not your city. Oh, what you talking about? It's going to blame the Democratic establishment whenever progressives lose. It's never that they alienate people. It's never that they're anti-party, or like I said, the charter school thing may have been law. It's never that they don't do, never that. It's only the Democratic establishment. Now, I happen to have some ins with some of the bougie blacks of Cleveland. They had meet and greets. They had church events. They had town halls and all types of shit. Mia Turner would not show up to talk to those old black church ladies because she had to do CNN hits. She knows it's always a Democratic establishment.
I feel like
Can you like go? Can I go for a little bit and then you go, James?
Bro, I just got up here and started talking.
So did I. I'm
No, I was just gonna finish on my point about how the slogan here doesn't work, especially when you don't have. Oh, I'm in the Matrix.
Oh, I heard him clearly. You're actually coming in here. I'm in the Matrix. I got all the bars.
So, to make a long story short on my point on why defund doesn't work and why some of these other things don't work is because I think that the people that are running really don't have a good pulse or are outside enough where they can actually see why this may not work and why we may have to tailor the message to something that's more palatable. Defund was never going to work, like I said. You have a cultural context where unfortunately we have been inundated with pro-police propaganda. I mean, I still remember the Serena Daniels trial when Tanya Haggerty was killed in the late 90s. When that woman cried and said, "I fear for my safety," even as a teenager, I said, they don't let this woman go just because she cried on the stand and said she feared for her safety from a black woman that wasn't threatening her. What happened? Not guilty. I just have to be escorted out by a car. And that's where you see this, and that's how defund doesn't work. There are a lot of people that are sympathetic to their plight because of how media plays a role. It shapes ideas. And if you're running a campaign and you don't know that, I gotta take it out. I don't want to say y'all.
I don't disagree with that, but I really do think I know nobody likes it. It's definitely a style over substance issue. I've been on Clubhouse a while. I remember the week Defund the Police came out, and I told liberals and leftists that this is a terrible slogan. It should be like refund the block. We should have like different ways to talk about this thing without literally making a statement that's untenable with what we state is our philosophy, which is that the more you fund the government institutions, the better they behave. It's not actually like a statement that is even coherent with a leftist worldview. So that's a part of why it's bad. But on top of that, it certainly wasn't just liberals doing that corporatist, like pandering to identity issues in lieu of dealing with like substantive issues around class. It wasn't leftist injecting clubs on Juneteenth. It wasn't leftist doing that shit. And so there's a lot of bad optics. There was a lot of bad optics that helped caricature liberalism in a way that seemed insincere. And when I say the Mamdani model works, it doesn't mean Mamdani's substantive interests that are aligned for New York worldviews work. It means he doesn't talk too long. He doesn't say right at the end of every affirmative sentence. And he sounds and moves and speaks like a fairly heteronormative man. Like he's a heteronormative man.
The guy that went around to all the different religious temples and put their hats and shit on.
That guy.
Wait, you just said, wait, okay. So,
that guy.
Yeah. So, but you just said he didn't do the things like the kid law.
It's how he presented himself. He didn't come to the
this is so phony.
You don't like the style, man. You don't like the style. The bottom line is,
he didn't do it. He didn't do it.
He didn't do it in the same way. He's literally Muslim. So whatever he did in the mosque was like literally.
Sikhs are Muslims.
He's a Sikh? I didn't even know that.
He's not a Sikh. Oh my God, he's not a Sikh.
You said what's not Muslim? You're yelling.
Never mind, bro.
No, you're just yelling.
Listen.
Oh my God, no, you have to
what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
No, you keep talking. I'm trying to explain to you. When he would go to the Sikh temples and stuff, he would put on the hats and stuff. He literally did the same thing.
I'm talking about black voters. You were talking about black voters. The Sikhs.
Wait, I was talking about white voters. I was God, bro.
I just feel like
Democrats.
The reality is, there's a difference between how Otis and Trent spoke to Nathan and how you were speaking to Nathan. Whether you agree with it or not, you were doing the Mamdani shit. You were doing the Mamdani shit. Stop yelling at me, bro. Everything is meta. Everything is meta.
Did you know he put everything is not meta? He did do this version of the
I think you're making I think the comparison is unfair. I think the comparison is unfair.
It is not unfair.
If you
it's just people like him.
Also, but I said that before. He's likable. I said that before.
But you said that people didn't. You said he didn't do it. And what I'm saying is he did do it.
When he
Obama did it.
Obama seems authentic when he does it. He seems believable when he does it. There's a performance to it too. There's a performance to it too.
Here's the problem.
was naked was a performance. The kid, come on, bro, calm down. What you're doing is a performance. Let me ask you a question. Why did they do the kente cloth? Do you know? Was it? I don't even remember what the function was for. Was it for George Floyd or was it for Juneteenth? I don't remember. They were asked to by a black group. Asked them to do it. I don't know who those niggas are. They were literally asked to do it. I don't know who those niggas are. But I can name some niggas that sound. It doesn't matter. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if you don't do the thing, it's a problem, and then if you do the thing, it's a problem. How did you not know that the kente cloth would be like farcical online? How did nobody around them know? It's not everything's a distraction. It happens all the time in politics. It happens all the time in politics. Could it be that Dems are bad at politics right now? This is insane. You asked me a question, I'm answering it. That's true. Okay. It happens all the time. And this one time, because the people were old and Democrats were unpopular, and it was MAGA, they got caught up. Politicians go and do these kinds of things all the time. Money does it all the way to Schumer does this. Eric Adams was out there talking about, what was he saying the other day? New York is the Albania of America. I forgot what it was. It happens all the time. If you can't, go ahead, I'm not, but go ahead. Well, I mean, y'all give me a pause. Go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It was a dramatic pause. Go ahead. It wasn't dramatic, I was inhaling. Go ahead. I didn't mean to kidnap you. I mean, Ray Clary said kidnap. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. I lost my train. Go ahead. I was saying, if you can't tell the difference between a Ghanaian, Nigerian, Muslim, religious simple versus Italian, Nancy Pelosi, and the Kente Club, I don't know, man. If it's the same to you, it's the same to you. But I don't think it's received the same way from the American public. I don't think it's received the same way. Articulate. He's done more than just the sick thing. I'm responding to the thing you said. Oh my God. You know what you do? This is what you do. You find out new information and then change your original argument. Your argument, he didn't do those kinds of things. He did do those kinds of things. Nancy Pelosi before has done those kinds of things. It's just that moment. They did not lose any, but Kamala Harris did not lose any voters because of the CDC. Those are the kind of things Democrats have to do, as opposed to developing a better immigration policy, then we're really cooked. I think they got you never had anything. You never had any. Of course, Republicans use one election. Republican. Wait, you're not a Democrat. I don't want to say what am I? I mean, you're a progressive. So you said last night people should become social.
You're describing a relationship where you have to raise money.
No, I'm not a DSA, but what I say is I think there's things to learn. Is it a DSA, Democratic Socialist? No, yeah, you were right. I was like, you think you can learn from the DSA? Yeah, I think there's a way to integrate. Track record? I think there's a way to integrate some of the style of approach in certain largely well-known spaces that the DSA. Yeah. Oh my God. What is DSA? So have you ever been to a DSA meeting? They're terrible, bro. I mean, I can be honest with you. I mean, be honest. Have you ever been to a DSA meeting? I don't go to meetings. I'm not working with it. So like, I don't feel I need to go to a meeting to learn about DSA. But I mean, it's also for those of us who all y'all do is either talk to me or shut up. It's funny. I think it's funny because those of us who know about DSA, especially in New York, they do all the racist, cringe things that you say not to do. So it's actually very capable for you saying people should learn from the DSA. Like, everything you critique Democrats for, that's what DSA is. That's why it's funny. What policies are they pushing for in DSA? They locked me somewhere, bound and gagged. No, that's articulate. He was the one that said it. Those are the 3 policies are they pushing for. Socialists. Fucking Democratic Socialists. They don't need shit. A lot of them are being right. Some of them are cringe. Many of them are like Vermont side, English lit type of people. But on the other
side of this, because they have a politics that's quote unquote de-racialized and class-based, the Vines ass Rogan kids do still kind of find an affinity towards them. And while I don't think you can win a lot of them over, I do think at least learning to put forth that style for the moment, like we did Barack Obama doing a campaign that was like multicultural and not pointedly, identitarian. That shit might be what it is right now. The country isn't ready for like overt racialized identity, like gender, sex statements. They really do, however, fucking millionaires. They really, that shit is real. That shit is real.
Okay, you don't know anything about the DSA. Wow.
You only say something about money because you disagree with what they're saying. Like, I don't know if I don't know about anything, then let's just stop talking, man. I don't know anything, right?
No, you don't know anything, stop talking. Why is it gonna come from me to stop talking if I know, but you don't know?
To be fair, you never have a conversation with me where I have 10 people who are saying nothing, just capital when it's your turn to talk. So that's what you're doing.
This is really funny because the DSA does all of the identity stuff that you were talking about.
I don't love that.
Mamdani, I'm almost done. Mamdani himself, until about 3 weeks ago, also does all of the identity stuff. Like, this is what's funny about you somehow think that you said that they were deracialized and class-based and that they do socialist shit. That's hilarious.
The DSA doesn't do socialist shit. That's not what the argument is.
No.
Okay, what's
Democratic socialists? They do not believe in socialism. They're a bunch of white boys getting ting-tanged. They are a complete mess. So many people have left the DSA. They're horrible.
I get it. So let's just consider this. I mean, who do you think is the model?
Like
on a national level.
It depends on if there is no model on the national level until you get a nominee. And so I think when you have a nominee, I think like right now, the model for Democrats successfully has been no one from the coast. That's probably what they need to do as a starting point.
If that's how
you feel, an argument, but I think it's true.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. What I'm actually trying to say here isn't that you take everything that you hated by the DSA and apply it on the national level. I'm saying you find areas in which there is like traction, or at least like an oppressive aspect on the opposition, the actual opposition, not internal oppositions, and you see where you can apply it. I think the thing that makes Mamdani most effective is he looks, talks, sounds, and feels like
he does have to vote. Believe me, that was a struggle last year with the whole young people protesting last year. Last year. God, it feels like 10 years ago already. The presidential race. So he did it. He won. I think it was it 43, almost 44% to about 30. Sorry, I don't have the numbers right in front of me because I
think it was like
38 to 36
to 36.
It was about an 8-point lead, wasn't it? It wasn't a full 10-point lead, but nonetheless. But when I looked at the map, I thought it was really interesting because he took a lot of Manhattan, which I thought was very interesting, and not surprising about Brooklyn. And then Cuomo's big leads I thought were concentrated in Staten Island and up in the Bronx, which
was interesting.
made my hair stand on edge. Well, there's a big Italian contingency.
That's true.
Which I don't think of us as being tribal, because I certainly don't necessarily fit in that crowd. But and I want to just correct that yesterday towards the end of our talk, I was excited and moving on to something else, and I misspoke. And of course, Ken Frankel, who I think is originally from New York, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken. Ken is always right for the most part. Ken is, and I appreciate you, Ken. I misspoke about Zoran and being a state assembly. I know, but obviously Zoran was a state assembly. He is still a state assembly person, and for the 36th district. So I misspoke yesterday. I wanted to call that out. And of course, also, I
just wanted to correct one other thing, which is that his policy on rent was to try to freeze rents and build more affordable housing and go after more, I think, tax on the wealthy to make that happen. And there's a larger debate out there about how economically feasible any of these policies are, or how much, fighting and politicking and partnership building they'll need to get it over the line and into legislation. But if he does win, but he certainly has excited the youth base with, I think, these simple messages around affordability. I'm not going to weigh into his position on Israel or Gaza right now, but I just want to say that it was seen as, a stunning upset, but many people are trying to take lessons from it. I think one of the messages that maybe Dems are looking at is this is a sign of embracing that the party wants change, or that certain segments of the party want change and are embracing change. And perhaps that's going to be a line they're going to go with. But there was I can tell you, I got a million texts from a lot of young people who were very excited, and also from friends that I know many people that ranked Lander first and Adrian Adams second. So it'd be interesting to see moving forward if he does win, and if people are concerned about his lack of extensive experience managing the city, what kind of strong team he could build by maybe having some of those same people that were running with him in some capacity. But I think so. Now we're looking at a four-way general. If Cuomo said he seems to have said he'll keep his options open. He said he's on the general election ballot. So I'm assuming he's going to run, but he said he'll keep his options.
He's not going to run.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. Yeah, go ahead.
He's not going to run. He said what he said, but the fact that he conceded so quickly because he knows that he's not going to, the way that the numbers are going to break on the what do you call it, on the
between him and Adams.
No, the way that the numbers run, because it's what's the system called again? It's the ranked choice, right? So the way the numbers are going to break on ranked choice, he already deleted some of those. Okay, that's why he conceded so quickly. Okay.
That I do, but you think he won't run again?
No, because if you can't win a Democratic primary and you get clocked like this, and you're a former governor and the son of a former governor, okay, you're just not going to win in November. And he's got the incumbent mayor running in November. You have a Republican who's well known, even though he's run before. Okay, and he's not really a politician, which is Sliwa. Okay, so no, I don't think he's going to make a. I think if Adams wasn't in it, Cuomo would definitely make a run for it. Okay, but because Adams is in it, I think Cuomo. He's going to do one of two things. He's either going to actually endorse Mogami before the election, saying that he wants to endorse the Democratic nominee, or he's going to stay neutral. But I don't believe he himself is going to actively run.